Mostly, when you are talking about talent, it is an intense interest. And most of the time, when the kids are growing up, they experiment with their interest. You see, one point in time, they're interested in football. When they realize they are not doing well, they move to something else. Then they go and do a little bit of music a little. No, they realize they are not doing well. The problem with poor countries is that you do not get the pleasure of experimenting. Imagine how many computer geniuses we will have if all our primary schools, everybody had a chance to be exposed to computer. But because no people who are supposed to be computer geniuses are not exposed to computer, they grow up thinking they are not good in computer, yet they could have been master computer tacticians. So the difference between the developed countries and the developing countries is that we are still stuck in the era where you do only what school gives you. We are not doing talent much. And so there are so many jobs. When you mention in Ghana, people want, is that also a job? There are people who walk dogs as their career. There are people who watch other people's houses for them. All kinds of strange jobs. In fact, there's a man I watch. His talent is in creating sound. Creating sound. So all the movies from the latest movies that you watch, any sound in the movie. In fact, one of the things people must know is that there is no sound in a movie which is accidental, unless of course a Ghanaian movie. but the actual movies, there is no sound which is accidental. In fact, most of the time, when they are even having the dialogue, they have it in a place where nothing can distract them, and then they put in the sounds later. Somebody's drawing a sword. That sound is making is somebody who makes it, not the sword. Somebody who is walking in some ground that is making noise. Somebody who makes that noise, not the person. In fact, everything is choreographed. Everything. A bird about to fall, the sound it makes, and this one is the one who does it. So you see when the names are coming, you see sound engineer, then his name will come. And he can do all kinds of things. He can create all kinds of natural sound from all kinds of objects. That is his talent. I'm sure he's been doing that since he was a child. And when he started, they said, you are disturbing us. Oh, stop that noise. But he has now perfected the act to a point where he can mimic any sound. There's one guy his specialty is miniaturization. He can recreate this room in a small, he can reduce this room into the size of this phone. And so sometimes you see in the movie, there's a tsunami and New York is being flooded. It is not New York. He has recreated New York in a small box. But when you see, New York, look at the size. No. He has recreated New York in a small space. And somebody too is pouring water into it like a tsunami. And you cannot imagine the amount he'll be paid to do that. There are people who are talented musicians. They know what sound to play at what type of the movie. To increase the tempo, to heighten tension, to heighten expectation. And so a movie is a whole company, from the sound to the artist to the food they will eat, and that is why it is a whole thing to make a movie. And it's made up of several talented people you will never see until we go to the director and the rest. The only people we see are the ones in the movie. But there's one man whose specialty in the movie is to be what they call the extras. Those who are working in the movie. So sometimes there will be a scene and you see somebody is walking somewhere. Nobody in that scene is caught by accident. It's only in Ghanaian movies that somebody goes, hey, they will be looking. No. In actual movies, everybody in the movie is part of the movie. Nobody is caught by accident. So you see somebody, as if he's walking somewhere, he's part of the movie. Somebody will pretend like he's driving. They are all part of the movie. And there's one man who has appeared in over 100 movies doing just that. Sometimes you see him pushing a bike. Sometimes, so they did a chronicle of all the movies he has appeared in, and all of them he was doing one thing or the other, and you will never notice that it's the same person. That is his talent. Talent are abilities. There are things people can do. People can memorize. There's one man, they said he had memorized the Bible to a point where it's like the entire New Testament. He can recite it. He can bring quotation. If you put them together, they'll be close to the entire New Testament. Can you imagine? The entire New Testament. And he can quote them offhand. That level of memory, you need a lot of training. Nobody is born with it naturally. Somebody will say, how is that going to be useful? Oh, in many ways. Photographic memories are used for many things. So abilities, able to run, able to imagine that when in the time past, somebody could have thought that a time will come where just running 100 meters can make somebody a millionaire. Now people have become millionaires. The Usain Bolt just running 100 meters, they have become millionaires. And they have sports cars and houses just for running, because running when nobody's chasing you. But people want to watch. All the people on that field trained during the Olympics, they are all talented people. Talented people. So imagine that. So all the time, what we are doing is watching talented people. People who can speak, people who can act, people who can create. And the rest who have decided not to use their talent, they are the people sitting on the wall. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. So Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. They will come into this world and pass. And only their family remember them small. But others, their works speak. There are people who have invented over 100 things. Over 100 things. And so, talents are abilities, talent are skills. Now somebody will say that how is a talent expressed? Because this is where the misunderstanding sometimes comes. Talents are expressed mentally. So somebody might not talk much. There's one guy that they could not talk much, not knowing that he's autistic. And some of the autistic people, all their energy is concentrated on one thing. So they can't do any other thing else. Some of them, they can't even lace their own shoe. And yet give them the calculation of the distance between the earth and the moon, they'll do it for you. I mean, but that's what their mind is on. There's one guy who died some time ago. What was it? Richard Dawson or whatever. Yeah. He could not move even a muscle. He was lying there like this. And yet he was doing calculations of space and time. He was doing calculations of the universe in that state. He could not even move his mouth. But he was doing calculations. And this man wrote a book. A book was entitled, that man in that state who cannot move wrote a book. And the book was entitled, A Brief History of Time. He was a world-known figure. A man who is sitting in a wheelchair that cannot move. He was a world-known figure. And yet there are people walking the streets with all the energy, standing there, and they have turned their life into pothole management. What they are doing is a degree in pothole management. And when they take one shovel, they fix the pothole. Then, can you give me 2 CDs? I mean, a human being of that power has been reduced to pothole management. And yet somebody is in a wheelchair and he's doing calculations and he's known all over the world. The mind of a man is so powerful. We are indeed fearfully and wonderfully made. Others are artistic. I've seen people who can draw with fire, people who can draw with pencil, people who can draw with blade, all kinds of, people who can draw things that you can imagine, who can carve things and you're like, how did they conceptualize this thing? People who can carve a whole thing from one tree. Carving, all kinds of carving. There's one guy they are celebrating in Ghana. He can make human figures out of this raffia cane. He used to create people. It is his talent. And so it will come to him easily. In fact, there are people who have what we call vocal talent. They can sing. They can do voiceovers. There are people who are billionaires because the cartoons, cartoons can't speak. AI is going to be able to do that with time, but for now, it is human beings who speak for them. All the Tom and Jerry and everything, human beings are speaking for them. And there are people whose job is that they have the voice. They do the adverts. Like Jessica, she did the MTN. The number you are calling cannot be reached. Yes, so that's somebody's contract that she did and she was paid for. Now with Alexa, they will interview the lady who did it. So the voice that says that Alexa, or they say, Alexa, can you do this? The voice that responds is somebody's voice that has been imputed into the AI device. And there are people whose job is that they just do voiceovers. If you want somebody to narrate your documentary, they have the smooth voice for it. When people listen to it, people who speak at the airport, this is Kotika International Airport. What? I mean, you want to hear a certain voice. And there are people whose job is just to do that. They have the talent for that. You don't want any rusty, annoying voice, And they have done that, and they have become millionaires just by speaking. And so, even with the pastors we have, most of them, the ones who are doing well, are the ones who are doing well by the grace of God with also their talent. They are either talented in management, talented in the way they can oratory, the way they can speak, talented in the things they build and the rest. And then there are people who have speed, like what I've said. They can do anything and they can do it fast. You want solution, you call them within a matter of minutes, they can come out with a solution for you. They are fast in everything, speed, everything, they are fast at it. In fact, there are even people who, they call them, stand doubles. All the people who are jumping in the movie, they are mostly other people who are jumping on behalf of the actor. And that is also his job. So that if the actor will not go and break his neck, and the movie will end. So if the actor has to jump, they will jump. And you need people who can do these things and survive. And these are all people's talent. Appearance, yes. Appearance. In fact, the first time I realized appearance was a talent, I was shocked. Because there's a whole industry for appearance. It's called the beauty, industry. There's a whole industry for it. Beauty is so much of a talent that there's an industry for it. I mean, your hair, your nose, those who are doing plastic surgery, changing hair color, straightening the hair, wanting to look straight. In fact, there are even people, even though the Bible says that you can't add height to your height, they are managing to add height to their height. They are able to straighten their, they crack some of their bones down here, and then they push it up. The things people are doing in this world, they push it up, and somehow they put it so that they can add some inches to their height. People who are broadening their hips. As for changing of faces, there's one girl in Iran, she had done more than 16 surgeries, plastic surgery, 16. And she was not even 30 yet. So, looking good and looking fine is many of the people who are sitting on your TV, reading the news. They are not reading the news because they only one can read it. They look fine on the TV. In fact, they look so fine on the TV that your attention will be on the news because they look fine. People are doing adverts. They have to have a certain look. People who are on the billboard, they have to have a certain smile. And just by appearance, somebody can be paid millions just because of the way they look. I was told once they insured Ronaldo's foot, millions of dollars. The foot was insured because they had gone to buy him in case he had an injury, so that they would take insurance. There are people whose hand, when they put ring on it, it sells. So they will take a picture of their hand alone. That's all they need. That's the only part they like. They like their hands. And so if you have the looks and they don't make use of it, you will not benefit from that talent. There are people who wasted their looks. All they used it for was for useless things, frivolous things. Others too, because of their looks. You see Jackie Appiah, right from the beginning. As I speak to her, she doesn't have a husband. And yet go to her house and see. She has Bentleys and the rest there. She has a mansion. She has capitalized on her looks. She's on billboards and all of those places. In fact, because of looks, people have moved from being commoners into princesses and the rest. And so it is also a talent. And then there are people who are good at systems. You can come here and you can arrange them. If you put this one here, this one to work better. No, let's arrange it this way. People can design a complex system that can produce a product. Sometimes I ask myself, they say a car has more than 3,000 parts. A car has more than 3,000 individual parts. And yet they're able to put it together and it works. How did they even conceptualize that this part should be here and that kind of thing? But that's somebody's talent. And then lastly, strength. There are people who are strong. There used to be one guy at our place, we used to call him, he used to beat both police and, the guy was strong. Right from the childhood when he was born, he was a strong man. Whilst he was there being local champion and beating people up, he didn't compete in wrestling, he didn't compete in boxing. By now he would have been one of Ghana's richest former boxers. His only problem was that he was just fighting and beating people. And so when you have a misguided talent, that is where you end up. It will end your life quick and early. Whilst his colleagues were earning medals, he was being local champion over there. Didn't go anywhere. Now, how do we deal with this issue of talent? Ghana, one of our major problems is that we have not had talented leaders. Mostly, most of our leaders have been more of talkers and copiers than real leaders who can turn things around. Remember, sometime when Ghana was doing so well that Lim Kuan Yew or Singapore came here to understudy how Ghana was doing, and then he said, no, he realized that the system we apply will not help him. He went around, chose a different system, and Singapore moved from a poor country to a developed country. But Singapore, they call Singapore the almost perfect nation. The almost perfect nation. Somebody can design a nation that is almost perfect. That is Singapore. And Singapore's almost perfection has attracted people from all over the world to that place. One person sat there and designed it like that. At a point in time, they were even importing water to drink. Now they'll be able to turn that nation around to a point where now they have become the hub for petroleum and all that. And they don't produce one single barrel of petroleum. Come to Ghana, and our style of management is borrowing, more borrowing, and spending. Borrowing, more borrowing, and spending. Borrowing. And then when we get to a point where we are stuck, we go like, well, I'm not doing as bad as you did. I'm doing better. But my bad is better than yours. You are worse than me. I mean, can you imagine? It's like we're jokers. In fact, it's bad, but mine is better than yours. So we don't have, and when we don't have talented leaders, they always drive into a ditch. It doesn't matter how resource rich you are, they always drive into a ditch. That's how come places like Germany, they only have coal. They have so much money. And places like Congo, with all the world resources is there. Yet look at what's going on. Look at some Kagame took what they call Rwanda. I mean, war ravaged, whether he was part of the war, whatever it is. But look at how he is transforming the place. Everybody is citing Rwanda, the cleanest in Africa. That is, leadership is not by force. That's what people must understand. There's also talent in leadership. That's why David can take men who were destitute, who were owing people, men who were dejected in society, and turn them into mighty men. He was a transformational leader. I mean, anywhere he went, things improved. When he joined Saul's army became a winning army. An army that could stand there for one person to insult them for 40 days suddenly became mighty men. And they were winning battles, going even into other territories to win battles. And it was all for one man's transformational, talented leadership. When David was practicing leadership, he was doing it with few sheep, but the leadership was so effective that when bears came in, he fought them. When lions came in, he fought them. But others too, come on. I mean, it's our time, People who only become rich when they take political appointment. People who only become successful when they become former politicians. So that is that. How is this going to help us as Christians? Knowing our talent. Bible says, just like the man in the Bible, Matthew 25 did, he came and asked for account. Every one of us. And the thing with our talent is that we all know our talent, just that we did not pursue them. And then what happened? In fact, several people say, like the Ronaldos and the rest, they say that they were not the most talented when they started. That there were people with them who were more talented. What has gotten them to where they are is consistency, discipline, listening to coaches, improving, working on themselves. The man has a whole sports complex in his house where he exercises, where even the water he drinks comes from a special place. He says one bottle is how much? He says $100 or something. I mean, look, can you imagine one bottle of water being $100? Just because he wants to be able to do the work. Talent requires accountability. And any one of us who is burying our talent, thinking that, well, when God comes, Bible says that as for the sheep and the goat, that we are already separated. Once you die, or once you decide against Christ, where you are going is certain. There's no argument about it. So the judgment is not really about who is going where and the rest. The judgment is about what those who are going to heaven did, and what those who are going to hell, what they did with their talent themselves. That's where the problem is. Those who were so talented that they could organize a whole world war like Hitler. They could they could organize a country and make it so powerful that they can start a world war and then fight, and millions of people will die. They'll have their own kind of special arrangement. I mean, God has a special arrangement for them. And then those whose talent, like the one who brought about penicillin, because of that, he has saved millions of lives. And then those who use their talent to do evil, even in the house of God. So it's a matter of what works with it. As I'm bringing this word to an end, what are some of the ways that you can pick your talent, even if you are still not sure what the talent is? Cues for identifying a talent. Talents run in families. There are some families that they are known for academics. In fact, right now as I speak, there's a Nigerian family that is supposed to be the most brilliant family in the whole of Britain. And they are Nigerians. They are Nigerian British. I think the youngest of them finished university at age 11 or 12. At age 11 or 12, she had already finished a degree. You know, some of them were finishing their masters at 15 and 16. You know, when somebody is struggling at SS at that time. You know, there's a girl who finished her PhD even before she was 18 or something. PhD. You ask yourself, how did she get? It's a talent. And then it runs in the families. If you look at the Kohathites and the rest, there are some of the families of the what do you call it? Levites. Bible says that they will sing. They used to do the singing. And it runs in the family. There are families that can sing. You know, and it's like that. There are families who are in the circles and the rest. So you will see that thing you know how to do, your uncle knows how to do it too. Or your father used to do it. So you ask some of the footballers, oh, my father was a footballer. Oh, my brother was like, there are some others. My brother was a footballer. They are yours. So your talent may be family because it may be based on certain genetic predispositions. Second, you find it, you do it so easily. You know, it's like somebody was asked, do you have, when you are writing, they call something, you can hit a writing block where you don't know what to write again. He said, no, I don't know what the writing block is. I've written 100 books. I don't know what the writing block is. Why? Because I only write where I'm talented in. But if you ask me to write something in a different area, I won't be able to write anything. In fact, if all of us were pursuing our talent, we will not have any problem with what we do. There will be nothing like I'm underperforming or I can't perform. Now, recognition by family and friends. Right from your beginning, I know everybody, they say you can be a doctor and the rest. But at a point in time, your family begin to tell, oh, you are good in this, you are good in mathematics, you are good in running, you are good in... Your family will affirm the talent and tell, oh, you can really speak. I mean, you are a good orator. So your family will affirm it for you. So that when anything is about to happen in that area, they'll call, oh, let's call so and so. She's the one who can do this. Third, fourth, you have this unrelenting interest in the thing. And normally when we say somebody has unrelenting interest in sports, it doesn't mean he's going to be a player. There are so many aspects of sports. They are the commentators, they are the narrators, they are the ones who are writing, they are the ones who are designing the kit and the rest. So somebody may be interested in sports and you are pushing him to play, he can't play, then we are forced. No. He's supposed to do, may even be a coach or even a scout. So there are various aspects of it. And then lastly, every talent starts from childhood. Nobody just have a talent pop up. It starts from childhood. Now tonight, in conclusion, what are we saying? God has given us abilities. The reason we have unemployment is because we no longer follow our talent. We follow our education. If you go to school and then the school says that we did science, so we should be a nurse, or become a nurse. We have no talent back in it. Now, if we, go to school and then we end up, they say we should do agric, we do agric. There are people who later on find their talent. There's one woman, she was going to do a PhD when she realized, no, I love sewing. She suspended the PhD and came to do sewing. Now she's she has sewn dresses and she has a shop. Somebody was a PhD candidate. That is what she's supposed to be doing. If all of us can be encouraged to do what our talents are, we will achieve more, we will do much better for God than what we are doing now. In fact, imagine if one of us was at the level of Rihanna or Beyonce in singing. I mean, the person just, you know, when Beyonce was going to give birth, the hospital, they had to expand the hospital for her because where she was going to be was too small. So they had to expand, but they had to upgrade the hospital for her taste. They broke walls. Yes, they broke walls and mounted new, better machines to suit her state. But they turned the hospital into a 5-star hotel because she's a multi-talented artist. And they also designed another space for Jay-Z. So when Jay-Z comes to look at the baby, he can also lie there. And this is a top-class hospital, not a normal hospital. And that is what talent does. Most of us have not had the height of blessings because we didn't pursue our talent. Because those who pursued their talent, the Bible says that they were given cities to rule. The talented people are the rulers of this world. And they are the shakers and movers of this world. They are the people that can change lives and destiny. And it's also people who are the ones who are making the real money. Talented people don't take salary, they take contracts. They give them contracts. They can go and say that this whole place, take it. We are giving it to you. The nation gives to you because of your talent. And that is what we want to be. In conclusion, we're going to pray for our children. Maybe we didn't hear it early and, it's escaped us and the rest. For our grandchildren, that they would discover, because a talented person needs a talented team to bring that talent to an international level. The whole of Ghana, we have never won a gold medal in an Olympics. Can you imagine? Over 30-something million people. We have never won a single gold medal. Why? Because we don't have talented team, talented management to manage our talented athletes. Every talent we have, somebody has it. You only exceed that person with better management, with better resources. If this talent was working for churches, imagine if you have a multi-million-dollar player. When he signs his contract of $10 million, he brings $1 million as tithe. And it has happened before, Holyfield. He brought $1 million as tithe to church when he fought. I think he fought Tyson or somebody. $1 million. Let's pray that we will indeed be treasures, talents in earthen vessels. Amen.
Amen. Praise the Lord. We are grateful to God for another edifying message. He has said it all, and so